So let's begin imaging. First, we'll start with the patient. I'm going to say I want to create a new patient. So I'm going to hit clear data from that previous. It's best to hit auto here for your patient ID. A patient ID is required, and if you just start scanning, it's going to give it a patient ID automatically. Now, if you have something that you have in your office that presents a unique ID, you can go ahead and use that. Most people just click set, and it has the patient ID. It's the day, the date, and approximate time of that exam. You can type in the last name. Note you can use caps lock automatically, so it'll automatically do the caps lock. And then all your other information here. Now I selected a vascular study, and so when I go to the exam review, it's going to show it as a vascular study. Some people have said that they'll go back to the exam review and it'll show, even though they did a vascular, it'll show up as, an MSK or something of that sort. That's because it wasn't selected correctly on this screen. So you don't even have to really enter any information here. You just need to let it know it's a vascular exam. If we go down to patient list, this will show patients that have already scanned. And you can close, suspend that exam. Exit, go back to patient. Now since I didn't save that, it has that current patient up there. So I'm going to go ahead and click clear data again. I'm going to click auto, start a new patient, type in the name. I can tab through these as well. And we're going to go ahead and stick with the vascular exam. The work list is for your DICOM work list if that is set up. So we'll click OK and get started. Now it says that there was an exam that was existing. We want to go ahead and say we've completed that exam. So it automatically goes to B mode. I am in a frozen image where I can go through and scroll through the trackball, but let's go ahead and unfreeze. And let's get into some of the things that are on that machine. I'm just going to get an image up here. It's just on my neck. It's not anything big. We'll hit this M tuning, which will automatically try and optimize the image using the gain and some other controls to try and get it a little more clear. Down here we have our focal number, so I can increase or decrease the focal number. Note when you do change the focal number, you will lose frame rate. Line density, keep that at high for a higher image and a lower frame rate. If you want a higher frame rate, you can go to lower. High line density gives you the best image overall. Focal span, if I have multiple focal numbers, the focal span will spread them out or cluster them together. Press here to increase the frequency, and you can see this probe goes up to 16 megahertz, all the way down to 9 to 14. Dynamic range is here. You can change your dynamic range. Sector width to increase or decrease. That will also change your frame rate. Grayscale, let's change your grayscale map. Sector position, if it's smaller, it'll move it back and forth. Persistence, which is like a frame averaging. And duplex, if you're going to go into duplex imaging when you go into a Doppler mode. Note when I change the persistence, this frame averaging makes it look really blurry. So having too high of a persistence, that's with real small. But basically it's a frame averaging that tries to improve the image quality and make it a little softer. Here we have our dual screen. You'll press it again to update each one. Same thing with quad screen. Oops. Just press it to create new images there. You can freeze to freeze them all. To get out of that, I'm just going to click down the B mode and I go back to the normal. Left, right, we'll swap the direction. And we've seen the focal zones, as in the previous movie, and our depth. Also in the previous movie, we saw the zoom function, where we can move this around, try and zoom. I can twist this angle to change the zoom to smaller or larger. And again, use the trackball to zoom in on a particular. Based on this thumbnail down here, it's going to show you exactly where you're positioned within the image. I'm going to get out of that by pressing zoom again. Now we'll take a look at elastography. If I press the elastic button here for elastography, it's not going to work. I need to go back into the exam and choose a preset such as breast, where it will enable the elastography. I'll press it down, and if I hold, it's going to give me the scale and the color for the elastography. Press it again to go back to 2D imaging. Now I can also go to Panoramic. In order to go to Panoramic, I have to freeze the image to show it, and then it'll calculate. So first what I'm going to do, and I'll just scan something really quick, and it's going to use that cine loop to create my panoramic image. So here, I'll just twist it once, and it's going to go ahead and clear it and show my panoramic image. Here you can zoom in, rotate it, and this will change your overview of the whole thing. Then go ahead and either click exit, and you can go back, or just simply unfreeze. Now to save an image, which we went over in the first movie, let me go back to my vascular preset here. And in order to save an image, as we showed in the first movie, you can go ahead and freeze it. I can hit save once to save the image. I'll hear the sound, or I press and hold to save the whole image. Now if I only want to save a selection of that cine loop, I can scroll back to say this is where I want to start my cine loop save. I'll press the update key, and it's going to give me a little arrow saying the start position. I'll scroll through here. Now I scrolled that trackball too fast. I need to stop that playing. So I can scroll through here and play and stop just by twisting this knob here. Let's say I want that to be the end point. Click update, hold down the save key. Sometimes you have to press that twice, particularly in color Doppler, pulse wave Doppler. In some situations, if you press and hold it, you notice it won't save. And this may be changed in a later version, but at this time, with this particular version, occasionally you'll find you need to press and hold it twice. Make sure you see that progress bar and hear that sound before you're sure that it is saved to the hard drive. Now for annotations, we'll just click on the ANNOT. And up here it says T-ball. That means hit this T-ball key, and you can select through various things that are already preset. Use the angle to scroll down through the menu. And when you want to select one, hit the set key. Hit T-ball again, and if I want to move that, I can click the set, move it up. I can also edit it by adding words onto there, just by backspace and just typing in. If I just want to do a manual one, I just move the trackball around, go ahead and type it in. I'll click set to save it or move it, and then I can save that image or do whatever I want. To get out of annotations, I just hit ANNOT again. To clear that, go ahead and hit clear, and it'll clear that annotation. Now, as we saw with the arrow earlier, you can press arrow, move it around, click the set key, and if I want to add another arrow, I press it again, and I can rotate that arrow this way. Press the set key, hit clear to clear the arrows.